Hello and welcome to this week's Wagtail Wednesday. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at how to add content and how to edit the promote page. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to have a look at where we left off, how to get to the blog explorer, and then how to add a child page. So firstly, we're on this page here, so we've just logged in and we're on the dashboard, and on the side we've got our sidebar. And if you remember from last time, what you do is click the little side arrow on pages, and we have this page, which is our home page. We click the little arrow here and this brings us across to our child pages. So in the blog we want to click there, as that's where we want to add our child page or our blog post, same thing. And here we've got add child page, so we're going to select that, and that's going to bring us onto this new blog page area. So there's a load of different panels here which you need to fill in with information, and this information then will be laid out nicely on the blog page area on the actual site. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in now. So what I've done so far is I've gone through and I've filled each one of these in. What you'll notice is as you go to type it in here, on the right hand side we have a little hint here as to what you might need to do or what it's actually asking for. So for example, this title is the page as you'd like it to be seen by the public. So we want the title of the page to be called example blog page. The subtitle is as you'd expect, so I've just put this as an example of a blog page. You're obviously going to fill it in with a bit more detail. We've got an introduction, so what the blog post is actually going to be about. And then we have an image. So this image is going to fill, almost be a background and fill behind all of this information that you've placed. It might be a bit different with yours, it might not have it. Okay, so all these things you might want to just do a test and fill in all of the content and see what works for you, because it all depends on how the developer has designed the site to look. Next you have this page body. So the page body is slightly different. It uses a stream field, so it may just look like page body, it's got a heading. So where do we put our content? Just underneath here we have a little plus when we hover over it, and when we select it we have the choice to add another header, a paragraph, an image, a quote, or embed something like a video. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a paragraph block, and in here I'm just going to put this is a paragraph. And then what we might want to do again is we might want to add an image. So what you'll notice now is these are infinite, so I could add as many of these as I wanted and make my blog as long as I wanted and add another one, but I'm going to leave it there. One thing that you can do is on the side here we have our bin, our delete button, our move down and move up. So if we decide actually we want the image to be above the text, what we can do is we can go to move down and select it, and now it's placed it right at the bottom and we have our image above, so we can just move that around quite easily. Underneath we've got our date of the article published, so we want to just select today's date. We have our authors and we have some tags which act like little categories. So I've put blog because it's part of the blog, and I've put general as it's a general blog, it's not about anything specific. And then what I did, I clicked save draft. So if we check our checklist now, we've gone to the blog page, we've opened the blog explorer, we've added a child page, we filled in the content. Now we need to go and fill in the promote page. So right at the top here we have promote, let's click on there, and then we have 4 areas to fill in. So the slug is the bit which comes just after, right at the end here. So for example, this is going to be a bakery demo /blog /example -blog -page. So I tend to just leave these as they are, unless you're going to be making loads of different blogs all called example blog page. Then you might want to do one, or today's date or something like that. The page title, so I'm going to call it the same as the title on the other page, and what that is a search engine friendly title. It is optional, so you don't have to fill it in, But what this means is if someone types in something about bread on Google and you want your page to show up right at the top for really good search engine optimization, you want to fill this in with something that Google will like, which is usually just text. So no dashes, no full stops or anything like that, just text. This will also appear at the top of the browser window. So it will appear here in the tab if you're using Safari, and obviously if you're using Google Chrome, it'll appear right at the top in the corner. And then a search description. I'll explain menus in a moment. Search description basically means when you search for it on Google, you obviously have the heading, which is the clickable link, and then underneath you have a little bit of information about what that page is about. So you want to just put a single line about what that post is about, so Google can fill it in correctly. Finally, we've got show in menus. So let's have a look here on this example. We have the Wagtail Bakery. This link here is the home page. So when I click that, we go to the home page. And these here are the child pages of that home page. So in here, we have the home page and we have those child pages there. So if I was to create another child page here and click show in menus, it would then add to the menu here. So whatever that page is that I create, it'll be here. We don't need to click show in menus on the blog page because we don't need a blog post to be in this menu at the top, and we don't need it to be in any other menus that may be there. So we've had a little look at the promote page now. Finally, we've got the settings page. So let's have a quick look at that, and that gives you two options. It gives you a go live date and time. So this is when the page will go live. If you don't fill it in, it'll go live the minute it's accepted by the moderator. And an expiry date and time. So you want to use this if you're running a competition, because what you don't want is in 2 years someone to be still trying to apply for your competition. So after the closing date, perhaps if it was in a week, you could select it to expire the following week. Pretty straightforward. We're going to leave that blank because we want it to exist forever, indefinitely. Fine. So after that, we're going to just save that draft. So again, you need to keep saving the draft all the way through so you don't lose any of the information that you've inputted, because obviously if you put a load of time into it and it gets lost, it'd be a pain. So there's two more things we can do. We can click the preview button and then submit for moderation. So on here, we're going to preview it and just see what it will look like on our site before we submit it for moderation. So first thing you can see is our image that we used. We've got our example blog page, which was our heading and our subheading, the introduction, and then the author, the date that it was published, and then we've got our body. So we've got our heading, our image, and then our paragraph right at the bottom. So obviously this is going to be a lot more busy once we put real content in and we fill it up. Next, we've got our tags. So if, for example, we made loads of different posts, loads of different blog posts, and use the general tag, we can then click on that, and we can find all the other different blog posts that use that tag. But currently, we've only ever made one blog post with the general tag, so it's not going to be on here. So we'll close that now. We've seen what the preview looks like. And then the final thing that we can do is submit for moderation. So when we click submit, it's now been submitted for moderation, which means our moderator or our admin can now log in and approve that for post. And all that means is that if you've got any mistakes, any errors, or if there's any information that isn't allowed to go live, it can be caught before it gets put out to the public. So hopefully that was interesting and useful, and we hope we can see you next week for another episode of Wagtail Wednesday. Thanks.